What's up, Unity community? We are back and we are live in this moment on twitch.tv/Unity and the official Unity page on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining us for Net Check Part 4. My name is Jackson. I'm one of your community managers here to bring you the newest and greatest in live stream content. I'm joined by our good friend, the legend themselves. Thomas is here. Thomas, how you doing today?
I mean, I'm a little stressed out, and then I just had this moment where I knocked my coffee mug over, and I was really worried that it was going to spill all over my keyboard, but then it was empty, which was good in that case, but now I just realized I'm out of coffee. But otherwise, I'm great. How are you doing?
Sounds like you've been on a journey in the last 5 minutes. I'm doing well. Apologies to all of you in the Unity community. We started a little bit late, and there's something funky going on with our YouTube links as well. So thank you so much for joining us. Tech gremlins persist in all corners of tech, including live streaming. So I'm grateful to have each and every one of you here. Again, shout out to C Disco, Zars, Mustafa, and Xtina on Twitch. Thank you all for hanging with us. Again, we've been doing these streams. This is part 4. If you have not seen the previous ones, don't worry, we're going to catch you up on what you've missed so far in just a moment, but we are having an absolute blast hanging out with you. These have been so fun so far, and these are an interactive medium for a reason, so pop into the chat, let us know where you're tuning in from, let us know what you're up to. If you have questions throughout the stream, please let us know. We want to engage in this conversation with you. We want this to be a fun experience. If you are watching this VOD later on YouTube, check the bottom bar there. We have everything chaptered out for you. So if you want to skip the preamble and you want to dive right into the meat and potatoes of it, you have that opportunity to do so. So thank you again, everybody, for being here. Thomas, are we ready? Should we bring in the rest of the gang, or do we want to talk to our friends here first?
No, I think we're ready to bring in the rest of the gang, right? We had our pre-meal or our pre-hamble, if you will, and now we can bring the crew in. So first of all, we've got Esteban, senior multiplayer advocate. What up, dude?
Hi, everyone. And Thomas, I'm in the same boat, dude. I need some coffee as well. Definitely gonna get some after this. But in the meantime, you know, let's do some live coding. Let's see what's up.
Yeah, what could go wrong? Live coding without coffee? Let's do it. And speaking of which, hi, Joy.
So in all your talks about coffee, I saw my mug and I'm like, wait, did I drink all my coffee? And the answer is no. I'm sorry. I got coffee.
Nice.
It's all good.
I'm going to be the caffeinated one. And you know what? Only good things can come from that. There's never been an instant where I've been over caffeinated and, you know, get up to shenanigans on the stream. So we'll be fine. This is going to be a perfectly even, balanced, and relaxing stream where nothing will go wrong.
True. Joy, could I ask you a question? Because we've been friends for years at this point, and I just noticed something in your camera for the first time. What be all those pins on the wall? I mean, I see your shrine to one of your favorite walking simulators, but what's below that?
It's not okay, it kind of is. Okay, so this is me struggling with mirroring and directional effects, but I gotta figure it out. So this is my pin collection, and every time I go somewhere, I get a pin. So, like, if I go to Brighton for some reason, because there's a Unity office there, I will get a pin. And yeah, so those are my adventure pins. Yeah.
Awesome. I just noticed those and I was like, I've never seen those before. And I just thought I'd ask about it. So, cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad you had the bravery to ask, Thomas, because I was curious. And part of my brain, I think, didn't want to ask because my headcanon was those were Pokemon gym badges. And I just wanted to leave it there.
The fear.
But now I know.
Yeah, so here's the thing about me that you don't know is before I came to Unity, I was a Pokemon master.
Wow.
And so I did collect them all. But this was when they were still only 150, and now I can't cope.
Got it. It's tough. It's a lot to keep track of. It's a lot to keep track of. But again, we're going to dive into part 4 here. I will give everyone a little bit of a recap, but before we do that, I want to remind everybody that Unite is coming up next month. Come and hang out. We will all be there, right? Joy, Esteban, Thomas, we're all there?
No. Heck yeah.
Sorry.
We're all going to be there. There's going to be a ton of excitement, a ton of fun. You can scan that QR code on screen there for more information. Liz, unfortunately, without a passport, cannot make it, but that's okay. We're going to be bringing a little bit of the Unite experience to you. We will have a live stream component. The details on it right now are very not confirmed, but we will get you that information as soon as we can. I'm excited to be able to share that event with as many people as we possibly are able to. So I think it's going to be very, very fun. So get your tickets if you are able to meet us in Barcelona. If you see any of us, come and say hello. Otherwise, we will try to give you all an opportunity to come and hang out.
Can I show something about Unite really quick? If production would be down to go to the
1000%.
screen share view real quick, I want to show y'all something really fast. So if you go to unite.unity.com and you scroll down, keep going to the ticket pricing, there's this little box that says Education Pass right here. And if you click that, you'll see that educators and students can go for free. Free $99, $0. So if you do that, you will have to provide validation that you are a student or an educator, but then you can go to the event for free. Like, obviously, you've got to travel and you've got to stay there. You've got to sleep in Barcelona somewhere. We can't provide that, but we will let you into the event for free. And we are doing specialized student sessions as well. Also, this has nothing to do with the stream, but Jackson, you and I should have a conversation about what hardware I need to bring to help your stream. Anyway, that's it. We can go back to the shilling moment, but I wanted you all to see that and know that, like, hey, students and educators can get it for free. There are a limited number of free passes, so once we're sold out, but take advantage of that. And speaking of other free stuff, if you're a student or an educator, did you know you get the Unity editor for free and a whole bunch of asset packs as well included? And actually, Code Monkey just did a really amazing video where he built 4 different games using those assets. It's super sick. You should check it out on his YouTube. But yeah, so make sure you check out your student plan. You get a asset bundle of Cinti assets worth about $80. You get the Odin serializer, validator, and inspector for free. You also get a 20% off coupon to the asset store. And there will be more things coming your way as our product team is always working on supporting the journey of students. So don't forget, you can get your free student plan because it's super awesome and you totally should. Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, more on that. The Bull asking, does Unite as an event, does it travel or is it always in Barcelona? To the best of my knowledge, I've only been here a month. It travels. Last year was what, Amsterdam?
Amsterdam. Yep. The year before that was virtual, before lockdown. I feel like there was one in LA, there was one in Boston, there was one in Denmark.
I've heard stories that prior to the pandemic, there used to be multiple every year in different locations around the world. Now it's become one awesome event. I have no idea where next year would be, but hopefully, if it's close to you, you are now binded into a legal agreement to come to it if it's within striking distance of you and you are watching this. Tina asking us to go to Austin. I love Austin. I've been to Austin many times.
It used to happen in Austin as well.
There used to be one in Austin?
My first time in Austin was for Unite. I think it was like 2016, 2017, but yeah, it was great.
And we also had Unite in Shanghai this year as well.
Just recently, yeah.
Wow. Our teammate Antonia Forster, who a lot of people know, she's an awesome advocate for XR technology. She was there representing. She did an awesome job. So heck yeah.
That's great. Yeah, so again, hopefully you guys can make it. And if you can't, hopefully we'll be able to bring you a little taste of it here on these live streams, and hopefully with no tech gremlins along the way. Thomas, why don't you catch everybody up? What have we covered in the last stream? What have we covered so far? We're on part 4.
Yeah, and we have a lot more to do, but we're going ham, trying to catch up. I think all the references are going to be food related and ham related today. So we last time worked on instantiation on the network, right? And network spawning. So first of all, we got our hot dog just spawning by pushing spacebar, right? It pulled the prefab out of the network object spawner, which is an amazing sample that Esteban showed us that was available on the Netcode for Game Objects documentation. And then from there, what we actually ended up doing was working on the network object pooling. And if we cut to the screen share, I can show you all kind of where that landed. So we ended up with network object pooling, and in order to do that, we first of all had to make sure all of our food and enemies were converted to network prefabs. And then inside of our scripts and our network behaviors, we used was it a utility? Yeah, so we have our network object spawner, which is the one we use for the individual spawn, and then we had our network object pool, which is what we use for our network object pooling. And this is replacing our local pooling functionality that we had written last year. So that's kind of what we did. And if we pull this class up really quickly, let's see if booting Visual Studio causes my face to explode. My my computer's mad at me today, so it's been kind of a strange morning.
Yeah.
We
For
had a fight.
context, we started a couple minutes late. That was part of the issue. We were having some tech issues on the other side, but this actually looks like it's running better than any of our attempts early.
Yep. So this is this is actually taken right from Boss Room, and we use it because they already set up how we can create all of our pooled prefabs, right? And then all we have to do is reach out to the singleton, say, hey, I need a pool prefab. We pass in a prefab object to tell it which one we want. It hands that to us, instantiates it, and then we simply spawn it and work with the values. So we had that working, and we got that working with the food, and because it was working with our food, we could basically just recycle that as much as we need, and that's how we're going to work on all of our enemies and all of our food objects. So yeah, that's what we set up, and we had some homework that we needed to fix. For example, getting animation syncing, which we tried to do right at the last minute, and it didn't work, but I know why, so...
Yeah, very interested to see the solution to that, Tom, because I'm sure it's very complicated and it's going to take like 90% of the stream to solve for that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It was hours and hours of work. It was simply that the player controller never told the animator to do anything. So it was really complicated. Yeah, It turns out our movement code was only moving. It wasn't animating anything. So all we had to do was let me find the network player controller, and I can show you exactly how we fixed that really quick. It was super complicated. So if we go into our network behaviors, we have our network player controller. Network player controller, where are you? All right, naming convention. We should have not started everything with networked. We should have named everything what it does _networked.
We've learned. This is a lesson for you all.
Yep. So inside of movement, literally all we had to do is say if the move value is not 0, then it's running. And if the move value, otherwise the move value is not running. That was it. And now our animation syncs. Turns out we just have to fire the animations for them to be able to sync.
Which is weird because you think that by this point, like Unity would be able to tell what we're thinking and what our intentions are.
Right.
Intention-based game design is all I'm saying.
That's all we're looking for.
That's the future.
It is. Except for sometimes I have nightmares, and imagine if it didn't desync from your brain. And anyway, the other thing that actually had to happen, there was one thing we had to do that isn't part of that, is because we're using client-based movement, the animation was being fired client-side as well, which means that we need to actually make sure there was a client animator. Where did I set that up? Was it in utilities, I think? I'll just search for it. Client anim. All right, anim. Here we go. Owner network animator. So basically what we had to do here was the same thing that we did with the client network transform, is we just had to override the on is server authoritative to be false so that the animation could be controlled from the client side as well. So that was one additional piece we had to do.
Yeah, that is so cool that it's just like the client network transform, basically.
Yeah, and thank you for the work that team did, because I was like, why isn't this working? And then I went, wait a minute. And then I looked at the documentation, and it was like literally inside the sample, inside the talking about syncing animations, it was like, don't forget if you're using client movement, do this. And I was like, oh, right.
That's my favorite, when the references are like, here's the direct answer to your question right there. There you go.
We're pretty sure you're going to forget this. Yeah.
Because on their side they did, and they're like, no, we're preventing this.
Yep. So because of that, we now have animation syncing, we have hot dog spawning, and that's kind of where we finished off. And then we had some homework. The homework was to basically hook up the rest of the spawning. Now, the one thing we haven't done is we haven't made our ammunition system hook up to the prefab references. But we have everything else working. So what we did, and we also have audio enabled again so we can all hear sound. But what we ended up doing was actually finishing off our network object pools. So looking here, you can see that we have our prefabs list is now 7 deep. And we have our hot dog ammo, we have our pie, we have our sandwich, we have our taco, then we have our skeletons, our vampos, and our zombos. And because of that, we are pre-warming 100 of each object, and then we can simply modify our spawner to get into that, which I can now show you. So if we go to our spawn manager, instead of a regular spawn manager, we now have spawn manager _networked, because about halfway through dev on Monday, I realized that I need to fix this. So I was like, wow, it's really hard to find stuff if everything's called networked. So yeah, now we changed that. So we got this set up, and basically what we had to do, I copy and pasted the code over and then just made modifications. So first things first, Our spawn gap is all the same. Our list is the same. The difference is that our list before was of transforms, was of pooled objects, and now our list is simply of network objects. Because we want the enemy pools function differently, right? In our implementation, we basically had a pooled object, and that pooled object had the ability to pull out of the pools. But in this case, we just send a prefab into the call, and that's how it knows what prefab to instantiate. So that was part one. I had to change that to a list of network objects. Our spawn points are the same. And then our enemies and scene are the same because we can store those. If we come down here to the enumerator, so this is where things really change. The spawn monsters with gap. So first of all, we had to write our game manager to be networked because the game manager now needed to exist in the network context in order to work. And we needed that so that we could verify what's the game state, and also is the game state dot. Wow, look at that big space. Let me just fix that really quick. Amazing that the computer didn't notice those spaces. It doesn't care. So then we have our enemies and scene dot count is less than the wave manager spawn during wave, and if the wave isn't complete, so that all stays the same. And then we can basically change this stuff. So before we were, again, instantiating just a random variable or an enemy. Now we have to actually get a network object instead of a game object. So network object here. And then basically from here, the other cool thing we were able to do, and I'll show you all, is we were able to use on network spawn to clean up the issues we were having with the nav mesh. If you remember last year when we were doing this, there was this issue when we were spawning from the pool. It was having an issue with, yeah. So we had to disable the nav mesh and then re-enable it. Mm-hmm. We can just do that in network spawn now. So the nav mesh agent is off by default, and then when it spawns, it turns on, and then when it despawns, it just turns off.
Amazing how finally designing the game that we originally were planning is solving the problems that we had when we were trying to skip things.
Exactly. So the spawned enemy is shoved from the network object pool. We pass in our enemy here, which is the selected enemy type function, which we'll look at in a second. And then we tell it where to spawn, and then we just do a default rotation with quaternion.identity. Then we have to call the actual spawn function, and then we just make sure to add it to the enemies and scene. And then we, move the spawn location index forward, and then we wait for seconds. Otherwise, we wait until the game is at an ending point, and then we break. So it's a lot to say, but basically, we just flipped all the things out so that instead of thinking about, instead of thinking about the local object pools, we were just reaching out to the network object pool. And then the only other change is because of that, our select enemy type function needs to return a network object. And then it's basically the same functionality Joy wrote 12 or 13 months ago. We simply changed everything to be a network object, and then we returned it, and that's it. That fixed everything.
80 years.
80 years. So that pretty much set us up. The only other thing is in the previous code, which I left in the project, you'll see in the regular spawn manager, we were activating and deactivating the components in this call. I was actually able to move it out to the enemy itself. So I believe, let's go back here and we'll go back to our enemy class. I'm doing this in a really, really inefficient way. Sorry, y'all.
Well, what else are you supposed to do? Hit F12?
Those of you that may have missed it last stream, Summer of Esteban didn't like Thomas taking the spotlight for a moment. Recommended he hit that hotkey F12, which crashed Thomas's laptop, and basically we wrapped up the stream from there.
Chad, please help me out. For those of you that are familiar with Visual Studio keyboard shortcuts, F12 can help you to go to a definition of a class.
It's just that my keyboard has this little moon right there, and apparently this keyboard is like, yo, dog.
That's
F12 means sleepy time.
That's sleepy time.
What could the moon possibly mean? No, basically all we saw was just Esteban entering his villain era in real time.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like for a dev.
Yeah. I do want to pull in a couple of questions here. So Liz on Twitch, Liz Kimber asking, is this code available on Git? We do have those links. We'll get them posted and pinned shortly. And then Abhishek saying, is anyone understanding anything, or is it just me getting no idea? If you have specific questions, feel free to ask them. There's a big reason we're doing these as live streams instead of edited tutorials. Feel free, hop in here, ask questions. We want to give you guys answers. And for you all in the chat, hanging out, watching us today, what I want to hear from you is, what is the first game you remember loving? Again, this is a very community-focused experience. Last week, we asked what's a game that inspires you. We also ended up making Disney/game dev puns on loop, which was really interesting. I didn't realize there would be so much crossover. But feel free, gang. We're here to chat with you all, so you have direct access to us. Ask away. Suggest solutions to things when we go into problem-solving mode as well. I'm excited to see what we have going on today.
Yep. All right, final code review from the in-betweens. And apologies, I'm talking a lot right now. Is because I did this code because I was already halfway. Actually, Esteban, you handled some stuff too. We need to have you talk about because you got the food despawning in between the breaks.
Oh, yes, yes, correct. Yeah. So that was part of the homework to make sure that like the food was properly pulled and everything. So like, so making sure that things, the objects that we throw, the ammo that we throw, that is pulled gets correctly returned to the object pool. Correct. And that's some of the stuff that I worked on. But yeah, at the moment, like no, like nap mesh movement, you handle all that like a champ. So yeah.
The only change here, I'll just highlight and then we'll jump into yours, is that so because nav mesh movement had that issue, I simply converted this to a network behavior so that we could get access to on network spawn. And this is where we're going to enable and disable. That's literally it. So everything it was doing, this was actually inside of the start or the awake and the, I think, on enable method. And then this one did not exist yet. So we just changed on enable to on network spawn. And then just updated that we're setting this to true. And then we're setting it to false when it disables, and it allowed the spawning to work. So again, really easy code fixes to our base, but stuff we should call out. And then your changes, Esteban, were in the food, right?
Yeah, that was in the food, I believe. And the entry point for this would be on standy, because on the player controller, when you hit the space bar and you throw the food, so on throw would be the start, which would be in standy, and then
so
there we go. Return food to pool. Return to food to pool, because I remember like the biggest change, one of the biggest changes is that instead of, because we are not spawning just one time and despawning and done. No, if you go to the return a food to pool function, I think that should be the implementation on how we're returning. So, I see. So if I remember correctly, you get the instance from the object pool, and then you spawn it. So sort of like you have it. If we're in a if we're thinking about like a theater, and you have sort of like an actor in a play, and then get the instance of the network object, and then spawn it means like, okay, you're ready to go on stage, and do your thing, and it's a zombie doing it like that. Yep. But once you come out, it's like you go ahead and let's say you take away the makeup or whatever, or whatever, and then return it to the pool, and the object will return to be ready to be used again potentially. Yep. But
this is a really interesting call I think you should talk about, because I've never seen this before. So you're actually saying network object.despawn false.
As in like take it away from the like this object is not participating anymore in the network session. And are you gonna destroy it? No, we're gonna return it in the pool and spawn it back again when we need it.
Cool. I hadn't seen this call before, and I thought it was really neat that we could actually say like, don't destroy this when you despawn it, just despawn it, right? And hold on to it was nice.
Whereas if it's just a one-time thing, like let's say like some particle effects or something, then it's okay to destroy it. If it's something that happens every now and then, and not on a frequent basis, like spawning zombies or shooting ammo.
Yep, so exactly. Cool. And then you just return it to the pool, which is great. And then this food original prefab, I assume this is just a reference on food.
Yeah, that is exactly. That is the key. That is the key that will get you the right list of prefabs to return it to, because the network object pool, the way that it works is that you can store different prefabs on it, but the prefab itself is like the key to the dictionary that'll get you the value, which is the correct array of objects.
And I think deeper inside the implementation that we use with the pooling, it's actually like a hash table, right? Yeah, cool.
Hash table, or a lot of people know as a dictionary, but very, very similar access of like key gets you the key value pair of values that are stored.
Cool. And then I see you have hide and inspector here, and even though this is public, so where are we assigning this, or how is this working?
This one, if you search, I remember, if I remember correctly, the reason why it hid it from the inspector but left it public is because if I'm not mistaken, I am giving the key to the actual object, serializing the reference of the same prefab. It was weird, but it didn't work. I think since it was serializing, but it was serializing the variable, but in another spot. Like it's like, oh yeah, you're storing the same kind of value, but since the reference or the memory address wasn't the same, that's like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. So even if it's the same value, but you give it as a key, I believe it was using like the reference, maybe like the reference or the internally the memory address.
So are you assigning this on throw then when Standy shows up? Let's see.
I believe so.
Right here. Spawned hot dog, I'll get component food. So you're actually setting it right here inside of the RPC. Okay, got it.
Yeah. It would be fun to like investigate a little bit more as to like how you can like just say, oh, okay, not need to store yet another reference to the same prefab on every hot dog, but at the moment, this is the solution that worked, and so I was like, okay, cool. It will be awesome to maybe optimize it later.
Cool, I love it. I just thought that was some really interesting use of the code. So that's what we did in between, y'all. I realize that's a lot to go through. If you're watching the VOD, you can pause and research. We do have, did we drop a link to the code base? Actually, I should pull up GitHub really quick and grab that.
Yeah, if you're able to, you toss it in there. I'll print it for everybody, so it'll just stay.
Here is the GitHub repo, y'all. And it should be up to date as of yesterday. And I've been trying to be kind of thorough with my commit notes. Don't judge me because, we're doing a lot of stuff. But, feel free to check it out, play with it, and use these as you see fit. So, all right, I think that covers all. Oh no, there's one more thing we need to talk about. So in the food, you had a timer, right? So yeah, you basically have like, if it's not a server, return it, and then you just have like a basic timer, right?
True. I just added in real quick like a little timer, because if what was happening before is like, if you throw hot dogs, yeah, even though they're pooled and everything, but if they're just flying forever, then. No, the pool is really not going to serve us a lot. So after some time, if they haven't hit anything, they just return back to the pool.
So what is the shelf life of a hot dog? What do we have it set to?
So the lifetime of a hot dog, if I'm not mistaken, it was 15 seconds. And that's true for real life. Yep.
15 seconds. I've seen hot dogs on those rollers that have been there for like...
years.
Hot dogs,
yeah, but see, they're still being heated, and that extends the shelf life.
Okay, and that's
the roller actually adds hot dog value. No, that's science. Don't you doubt my 7-Eleven science.
If anyone's a hot dog scientist in the chat, we'd love to hear from you.
Does that mean that if 7-Eleven lost power, then after 15 seconds, their hot dogs would be returned to the pool?
Whoa.
Yep.
I think there's a decaying rate here because the roller is still hot.
Don't use the word decay in relation to hot dogs.
But there is a rate of decay because the heat on the hot dog rollers is still there. So how long is power out, and do the rollers lose heat?
Oh, great. Like, so now we need a legitimate scientist to help us solve.
This will be homework for next time. Yeah. Next time, right? We'll add this to the homework list. Uber Mammal saying, I only wish I was a hot dog scientist. So like... I think between us, we can get this all sorted for part 5. We don't have to dwell on it too much, but if anyone's got ideas, I want to hear them.
Yeah, we just need a few graphs, that's all.
Thank you for adding that up.
You're welcome. The most important comments in our code. Okay, so that's where we're at now. So let's just run the game and see if my computer eats itself live, and take a look at what is going to happen. If suddenly I freeze, I'll make a weird face to make sure.
We can still, I think in our tests, when your camera's gone wonky, we still hear you. So I think that's important.
All right, I think I'm back. I don't know.
Oh, I confirmed you did freeze in your weird face.
Though, I also couldn't really tell if you were frozen or not, so that was a great mask.
Well done.
Thank you. I don't know when we're going to catch up, but... So if we look at the game now, also notice there's music happening as well. Production's talking to me. Oh, they still get to hear me. That's good. And then I think my processor will catch up eventually. So if we go to the host mode, this is what we actually have happening now. So the timer works. And then the monsters spawn. And the wave stops. And when we throw it, now the collision is registered, you'll notice, because we see the beautiful particles firing. But they don't die because we're not handling that right now. And that's what the theme of today is handling network collisions. Oh, look at him spin. Do you see them all spin together? That's so cute. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and turn this off and refreeze me. Okay, perfect. You'll also notice that we have a null reference exception firing. This is on our HP class. And I believe that's because our HP class is not a network object. And so when the collision hits, the HP class tries to get referenced and it has a problem. Or maybe it doesn't know which one to reach out to. I'm not 100% sure why this is happening yet, but we'll fix it. Okay, so
let's do this.
I guess with that, let's do it. Let's make some network collisions. I think, Esteban, you're going to run the code today through the power of Parsec, right?
Through the power of Parsec. Let's do this. Let me log in real quick.
Okay.
Thomas, have you decided to hand things off to Esteban because of the sabotage at the end of last stream? You didn't want another incident?
I'm actually going to start yelling at him to push random buttons on his keyboard during dev to see what happens.
Oh, so
that's
this is a revenge
plan.
opportunity. Understood.
Yeah. All right, so I have to approve your connection really fast. Let me just jump in and do that. Actually, can I do that live on stream so everybody can see? So I got this little button. Oh, nope. When I did that, it got mad. What did I just do? All right. Well, that was a mistake. Oh, is it because it's small? Let's try that again. Maybe if I scale it up, the icons will come back. Ah, here we go. So I have guests showing here, and I can actually accept his connection. And then I can click this and approve him to have keyboard and mouse control. And then I'll move this away. And now that I've done that, hands off. It's all you, buddy.
It's all me?
Woo!
Wow.
Let's see.
We're truly living in the future.
Okay.
All right. So what do we need to do? We need to make collisions happen in between a zombie and a hot dog, like real life problems.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
Okay. So we need to make sure that, first of all, our prefabs actually have, those kind of cool components that they should be having. So let's go to NAV's network. Let's start with the little zombie and Sambo. We have a capsule collider. We have HP and little rigid body. Cool. So one thing I'm gonna go ahead and do is just set these little guys to kinematic.
Okay.
We're using transform based movement anyway, and let's actually make this collider react to trigger. And where are the layers of this? Where are the layers of this dude? Oh, right here. I guess we should add a physics layer for enemies.
Sure,
So,
let's do it.
let's go ahead and add enemies.
That's actually a good idea because we were using tags, so we didn't mess with layers. But that's actually a really good practice, I think, to add a physics layer so you can control collisions in the collision matrix. I don't think that's the actual name for it, but I like to call it the matrix.
It
No,
sounds
you're correct.
Matrix, you're right.
Yeah,
it's the
your
matrix?
collision matrix. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
and for those of you,
Uh-oh, let me move it over for
it
you.
brings up
There you go.
thank you. So if we search for, there we go. Man, it looks a little bit weird on
On yours?
my end.
Let me
but
full
it's-
screen it for you really quick.
There
Hold
we
on.
go. Thank you.
I got
very
you.
much.
Yep.
See there you go. See, Thomas is super cool. Like he could be sabotaging me right now, but no.
No, he's
that was the
helping.
opportunity.
Yeah. See, that's the thing is that Thomas has not entered his villain era, so
Not yet.
he's in his helper era. Real quick, we had a question on the Twitch chat. Do you guys plan to implement any debugging visuals for collision detection?
Great question, Fuli.
I don't think we talked about doing it during the stream, but that's not a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Um,
for sure.
Given the scope and time of today, probably not. During the homework, we might take a look at doing that, depending on how much homework we assign ourselves between. Because if y'all don't know, we only have this stream and next stream left, and wherever we are, we are. So we're hoping to get online next week. So we'll see.
Okay.
But generally speaking, it's a good idea.
Yeah. Now, one thing though, something that I used to do in some of my projects, or at least for testing purposes, is that, let's say, for example, you know that you want your player only to collide with enemies, right? So what you would do is that you disable all of these. Maybe have your player not collide with anything other than just food, and the food will collide with. There we go. Like, we're here on player, so we want the player to just collide with food, and the food to just collide with player. Which in this case, it would mean that since there's no collision in the matrix, then just leave it alone.
Yeah,
I got the feedback. I got some good feedback, and I really agree. This is not necessarily the best way to do it, because this is a global setting that affects the entire project. And you know who gave me this feedback, Thomas? Noel.
Okay.
And I was like, okay. So for those of you who don't know, like last stream, Noel Stephens, he's a creator of Netcode for Game Objects, and a lot of the advice that he has been giving us in between the weeks really came in handy.
It's really good.
So shout out to Noel, to begin with. And one thing that, and this is something that works for multiplayer games and non-multiplayer games, is that if you have, let's say, select Standy, and you have where's the collider? I know that this dude has a collider, but if not, we're gonna go ahead and add it. Okay. All right.
Does Standy simply not have a collider? I guess, like, he's not really. No, you're right, because we're using distance for attack. We're not even using collisions for like interactions. We're straight up using the distance of the monster to Standy, and we're just calculating that.
Oh, okay. Then in that case, let's say the hot dog. Because food. Food. We want food and we want food and enemies. So I know that the hot dog does have a
and the enemies do as well. Yeah.
So instead of doing that on the physics collision matrix, this is something that Noel like I agree with it, because it's on a per object basis. And here you can say include layers, like, and then you say and exclude, like, everything, like, except food. And this way you can do the thing that you can do in the collision matrix, but locally, and not mess with the global setting that you may have to undo later in the future. So I actually like this. I like this.
I think Joy has something that, like, she's got her Joy face on, which means she's got something she's gonna say. But I need to let me
go ahead, Joy.
Let me walk through. So let me walk through my understanding really quick. Or Joy, do you want to go first?
No, go walk through. Brain turn. Tom talk.
Okay.
Brain.
Okay.
Catchup.
So if you go back to the collider, right, or the rigid body? No, the collider's where you set this, right?
Yeah.
Where are you, sphere collider? Okay. So you have include layers. So these are the layers that you are including in the collision, right? So the food object would want to include the food layer, because that's the layer it's on. Is that?
If I'm not mistaken, yes. Or like if I'm not mistaken, it's like the layers that I want to include in order to catch collisions. So if we're from the food point of view, and we only care about enemies, then I believe it should be just enemies.
Got it. So in this case, we want to do nothing,
and then click again to hit enemies,
and then we want to exclude everything else except for enemies.
Exactly.
Okay. And then on the enemy side, we would want to select food.
Exactly. Because we want to collide with food. Yeah.
Got it. And then we're basically using it at the local level and not setting the project settings.
Exactly. So if I were to go back to the zombie, where I know I just saw that there's a collider, then include layers is stuff that I want to collide with, which is food.
Got it.
And exclude layer, everything except
for food. Got it. Okay.
And I was like, okay, this is super cool. I've always, for testing stuff, I would just go to the collision matrix.
Same.
Yeah. So So yeah, like honestly, if anything, we can go back to like just doing it in the collision matrix. But I feel that it's a good learning moment.
I like it.
So,
Yeah.
do we just now
Oh.
ignore the collision matrix?
If you, in a way, yes, because we are having everything collide with everything, but this particular collider or like the prefab is not gonna care about it.
It's doing it so like it's almost like the order of hierarchy is check the local level first. If the local level is
Okay.
everything, then
There we go.
report to the collision matrix.
That's the piece, because I was thinking of it in the opposite directions. Like, is this more efficient? Because if it's like going from the collision matrix saying, yes, everything collides with everything. Oh, wait, no, collider says other. But if it's going the other direction, then I get it. Yeah.
And this is something that it would be awesome, like for anybody that's listening or watching, if you have done this versus just modifying the global collision matrix, I would love to hear your thoughts on it. To see like what has worked for you in the past, or like what do you if you've done this as well, like that would be something really cool to know.
Yep.
Okay, so assuming we have our collision made and we have our hot dogs set to food,
We will need to do that on all the other two enemies as well, because our spawner does spawn all of the enemies.
Oh, okay.
So it's a higher chance that you're going to get a zombie, but you will see skellies and vamps as well.
Okay. Let's do. So
I think from a lore perspective, that makes sense, right? Zombies travel in packs. They've got a real strength in numbers kind of vibe. So I like that you guys took that into consideration. You can tell it was deep in there. The deep lore.
We referred to the ancient grimoires to produce this game. Yeah.
This was a well-researched venture.
Oh.
100%. I
Wow.
mean, right down to the shade of green that the zombies spew when you defeat them with hot dogs.
Yeah,
All lore accurate.
I wanted to say I noticed that. That was really impressive. That's one of the
I
most impressive things.
for one read and watched every Twilight movie twice to make sure I was
Wow.
prepped.
And how did you feel about the sparkling?
Very important, actually.
Wow, okay. So that's something we're going to add in the sequel, is the vampires will sparkle?
It's actually entirely a sparkle-based game dev operation at that point. Yeah.
Wow. I'm excited for the sequel.
Okay.
Now
I
we
don't
are
know
getting
why
a-
I'm getting
Yeah, we're getting
I
a
don't know why
serialized
we're getting
property error.
Yeah, like this is the first time that by just modifying stuff in a prefab from the inspector, I guess serialized property. But like the changes are taking effect, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Like if we go.
Well, let's hit play and see if anything breaks. Like maybe just hit the play button and freeze my face
Yeah.
for a second, and let's see what happens.
Actually, that is a very good idea. So let's go ahead and do that. Le play. Okay. Post.
Once again, I can only tell at the very last moment whether or not Tom is actually frozen or not.
And then we should see particles spawn if you hit them, right?
Look, it's a skelly. Look at him. He's so cute.
We got one of the rare ones.
He's so
Yeah.
happy to be here.
Oh.
But the sound is playing. I'm
So
hearing
for
the sound.
collision- I see. So the sound that plays at the collision is sounding. Interesting.
Yep. So I think it is working. I wonder if there's other things happening here, because I wonder if it's our code that's actually changing this. We should
Okay.
take a look and see.
So if I remember correctly, let's see where are we handling the collisions?
It should. I think it's all happening inside the food. Actually, I think
All
the
inside
food.
the food. Oh,
I think the food is doing all the collision work.
okay. So let's say hot dog, for example.
Mhm.
So, ooh,
Because if you go down, there should be an on trigger enter or on collision enter. Yeah, on trigger enter down here. And then yeah, audio source, play clip at point, the impact sound, and then if it's an enemy, then you're going to the HP and reducing the hunger amount, and you're returning the food. Now we do have return food to pool here, so that would work. But the reason why it's not happening is because this HP is actually throwing a no reference exception, and so it's stopping the code from executing.
oh. So perhaps perhaps over here is where we're getting the. Oh, I see.
Yeah, if you go back to actually I have to alt tab for you, huh? Let me go back here and go to the console. if you pop up the console, I think we're going to see that there's a no reference.
Oh, I think I
Cleared them,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah I think I cleared
So is it
Okay.
really the next step is we have to make HP a network object?
I think so. I think it needs to be a network object in order for it to be found in this context with the collision.
Although the food is already a network object.
So
Wait. Yeah. It was like I'm not that crazy. Like
no, the food is already set up as a network object, and
Yeah,
I
but the
think
HP
the food script is a network behavior, right?
yes, it is.
But I think
see.
because
You're
the
talking
food
about
script is a network
the-
behavior, I think it's because I think the HP also has to be a network behavior for get
Mhm.
component to work.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yep.
So okay, HP.
Go get us some HP Lovecraft.
Oof. Heck yeah. And network behavior.
And then I think we'll need to get a using statement to fix that as well. That's why you don't see it in the completion.
Oh, true. Let's open some fixes. Yay.
Yay. Yep. Cool. That should be it. And then press F12.
Don't do it. It's a trap. I've seen this one before.
Now here's what you do.
funny
The
thing
other
is that-
F12 button.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Joey.
It's on your tower. If you
Yeah,
could just hit
yeah.
that
tower
F12
F12.
button on your tower, yeah.
It's got a circle with a line in it,
Yep.
and it sometimes glows. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the hyperlink to the script you're specifically looking for is that button. So.
Okay, here we go. 3, 2.
No!
No, just kidding.
Guys, I can't handle any more tech gremlins after the start to this stream.
All right.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
that
finalized.
let's see if that actually fixes our code. I think that fixes it, right?
We could try it out. Could you alt tab to the editor?
Oh,
let's see what's going on.
Whoop.
3,
I
2.
love how you guys are working together to make Unity work.
Oh, I didn't freeze this time.
Oh no! How
Okay.
terrible!
There we go. Got him.
Oh, son of a gun!
All right. Throw them dogs.
We gotta figure out, Thomas, why you're freezing up.
Yeah, the dogs are the dogs disappearing?
Yeah. Well, it looks like it.
I see it. It's weird, but like looking at the stream, it's actually I get more feedback. I get better feedback than like me looking directly at Parsec.
Never look at Parsec directly in the eye.
I don't think the collisions are
Okay.
happening.
So collisions.
No.
in general,
I don't think the
Tom,
collisions
or-
are happening, unfortunately.
In general, like I bet if you unplay and go look at the console, I bet there's going to be no console information at all.
Mm,
Oh no, go there. Are no refs. Go
Oh,
to the no refs.
there we go. No reps. Okay.
Hide the other ones.
Hey,
you
there we go.
hid the errors.
Hey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
Let's go over here.
do we need to do a server check here? Is that what's going on, or do we already have that happening?
No, and you're very correct, sir. We do need to make sure that like whenever we are, or actually if we are calling, because if we are on melee, not on melee attacks. So what I'm trying to get at is like where could be the best way to like make sure that we're reducing the HP.
Yeah.
You know where to add the is server check. Well,
Yeah. I think we should
True.
add it inside the collision, right? On the food. There isn't it already there on the food?
you're very correct and true.
Ah.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
There it is. So I think the reason we're getting all those no refs is because maybe we're gonna find out.
Okay, was this a eureka moment? Did we crack the case?
We're gonna find out.
Maybe.
It's more of a eureka.
Eureka question
It's-
mark on
it's
the
like-
end.
Yeah.
That was
I can
actually
tell
the
you-
true quote the day out.
I can tell you that I tested as far as to comment out the reduce HP function, and it worked. So I know that it's something to do with reduce HP. That's as far as I go. But let's alt tab over and see what happens.
Let's see. But definitely, Thomas, you're very correct. Checking for the collisions on the server, yes, especially when stuff is owned by the server, which the food and the zombies are handled by handled by the server. So
Thomas is frozen again. Very good.
That was actually an action shot this time.
Very
it's a
cinematic.
vampire.
okay. You know, yeah.
We're still getting no refs. I can see him at the bottom.
Well,
So we need to figure out what's going on with reduce
Can we
HP.
comment it out for right now and it'll work?
Yeah, so if we go back to, I guarantee if we go back here, and
Sure.
I'm just going to take control real fast, if we just comment out this call really fast, then
so
that will actually fix our, that, then the return food to pool will actually happen.
okay.
So we know, so like at least we can show that the server connections are happening, right? Like, and it's only happening on the server side.
Hey Thomas, you want to put like well, I mean, we can try it, but we can put some comment, maybe some log comments like hot dog or whatever object was returned to pool.
Hey, we got another vampire.
Huh. I don't see them flying. Yeah, so
See
I
it disappeared?
believe they are disappearing.
We might want to widen the collider. Like it looks harder. It looks hard to hit, but when
Yeah.
you do hit, they are disappearing.
Okay. So so correct. They're definitely hitting. Oh. I thought we
What? I thought we commented that code out.
so that means that we still have some I guess we have some model behavior HP on some characters. So that's kind of weird. Was it? Oh, because
Oh, the player.
the player. Yeah.
Yeah. Because the player also has HP.
So we need to make sure that like we're reducing HP on the server and whatnot.
Yep.
Okay. But for now, let's our current mission is to return the handle the collision between the hot dogs and the enemies and return or kill off the enemies.
Yeah. And we could, I mean, honestly, we could bypass, if we wanted to, we could bypass the HP mechanic and just have it return when they hit.
Oh, actually, no. You're right. Like first, I see. So we could do it like that just to test, and then we can go and fix the HP
And troubleshoot the HP. And we could work on the HP for to finish the stream. And then when we run out of time, we'll just take it as homework to finish up. And then we can review next week.
Okay. So we're in HP, and now it's on food. So in a way, we need to the same way that we are returning food to the pool. Then we need to return the enemy.
Yep. Now the question I would like to ask, well, it's up to you. Do we want return enemy to pool to be on the food, or do we want it to be on the enemy?
No, I would. Yeah, I would also have it on the enemy. So
now I don't know. Is there an enemy script right now? I think we're just using nav mesh movement, and that's all we're using. Nav mesh movement and HP are the only things we're using to define this enemy.
oh, okay. So there's no enemy collision controller or something or anything like that.
There's not.
Okay.
So we need to make a new class, I think.
Okay. In that case, no, I do not want to deal with. I do not want to deal with.
Oh, let me alt tab over. Sorry.
With version control system right now. Okay.
I've talked about this in previous streams, but for full transparency, I am not a developer in any way, but I am learning, and I'm learning a lot in these streams as well. But what percentage of game dev and coding is detective work? Is investigation? 90.
90.
Sure.
What part of the
Like-
project am I on? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's seriously, there are so many instances where in game dev you'll do something that is just so standard and it's like, oh, I've implemented this type of thing a million times, and then it just doesn't work for some reason, and then you spend an entire afternoon trying to figure it out.
Love that.
But the thing is it's still fun.
Yeah.
Maybe not in the moment,
It's very
but
fun.
once you solve
It's a
it,
puzzle.
Oh,
I
the
like
reward
puzzles.
is massive.
Yeah.
It's like a Dark Souls boss. You beat your head against the wall for the whole afternoon, but when you finally beat through, you win. Ready to go. Feels great.
You know, I've never thought of game dev as a Dark Souls boss, but that tracks.
Yep.
Really
So for
opening
those,
up our eyes.
for those watching, I don't like Dark Souls, by the way, but so yeah,
Okay, but
we're
what
just
about
creating.
Elden Ring?
I haven't played it yet.
Dude,
I'm
you gotta
actually.
do it.
I'm doing all the Witcher DLC right now because I love the Witcher.
Okay,
So
fair.
I just finished Hearts of Stone
Valid.
last night and it was amazing.
Dang.
Okay, so we just created a new class, network behavior, and then we're basically just making a function to return to the object pool, right? Is that kind of the plan here?
Mm-hmm. On trigger.
And that'll have to be. Oh no, you're doing the on trigger enter. Oh, okay, so you're just gonna handle it from the on trigger enter. That's smart. Like, why even have the food pool call it? Just have it kill itself. Smart.
Yes, but at the same time, we need to return. So from here, if we are colliding. Oh, wait. No. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
No, you're right. You're right.
Now remember, because we were gonna first return it to the pool with the collision, and then, yeah, exactly. So network object pool. So what do we need to?
Network dot singleton
Oh, correct.
dot return network object. Oh, so it's gonna need a reference to itself, right?
Exactly. So the cool thing is that network object is a reference to the network object given to us by network behavior.
Oh, nice. Okay.
But at the same time, we are missing this. We are exactly. So
Could we?
so that means that
Could we just do a serialized reference, or do we need to plug it in somehow?
like I see I see what you mean.
So could each game object, could each enemy game, could each one of these classes just have a reference to their own self? Well, to the own prefab.
to the key, yeah, to the
key.
original
Yeah.
prefab, yeah. So basically, like very similar to like the food.
Yep. And then do game object, right? Game object prefab or enemy prefab. Game object my prefab
Yeah.
or prefab key. Is prefab key a better way to describe it now that we know what it is? Original prefab. I like that.
No, the reason why I kind of hesitated is because I think that what might happen is that the same thing that happened to me.
Okay,
before.
let's test it.
So, but so remember the thing with the with the public variable and the
Yep.
hide from inspector.
Yep.
That's what I'm suspecting. But let's see what
Let's find out
see what happens. Okay, so now we need to go to the to Unity to set this set this behavior.
Yep.
So we need to go to the prefabs, enemies network. Let's try with the zombies first.
It's
Okay, so
sorry.
network
You go ahead.
collision. Sorry, go ahead. Jackson.
No, I'm adding commentary. It
Okay.
just seems
So-
that it's a thing that almost everyone in chat has experienced in some capacity. The necessity to problem solve. Well, to go into full detective mode to
Yeah.
try and figure it out.
And now,
So now, go ahead, Thomas.
so yeah, so now if this is working, only the words are hard. Only the zombies will go away because the Vambos and the Skellies aren't set up yet. But this is a great test. Here come the Zombos.
Ah. It's
Not happening. It's not doing it.
Okay. But we are getting no exception errors and
Let's go look at those.
yeah.
Yeah, it was not present in the dictionary. Okay. So let's walk through your solution then. So so is this the when they spawn, it has to inject itself into this collision basically?
Yes. Yeah. So that's a problem that I encountered with the food when I was trying to return it to the pool, and the reason, at least the reason I believe it's not working is because since we are sending in C Sharp, the way that classes work is by reference. And think of like for those of you that are more familiar with C++, think of it more like a pointer, that stores an address in memory. And a reference in C Sharp, if I remember my C Sharp correctly, references are just basically like addresses in memory. So just because they hold the same prefab or they point to the same prefab, that doesn't mean that that address to that same prefab is the same one. It's the same one in terms of memory address. So two addresses 0 and address 5 can point to the same
prefab has a summer home.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay.
So my current solution, which is I do not think that this is the most elegant one for now, is and I did for the food, is that we give it the original one that was stored in the food pool, so that it collides, you know.
And that's the song The Offspring were singing about, right? Original prefab. Wasn't that the?
I'm sorry.
The Offspring song, Original Prefab. Isn't that their? Isn't that their?
I was wondering. Yeah, that's where we were going with this.
Prefab. Sorry, I
find that key.
I wanted to shout out in our YouTube chat. We got AIA. Maybe Aya? Please let me know if I got your name right. But indie dev working on Mana Valley. And the reason, I mean, great to have you here. Welcome on in. But also realizing that one of your videos showed up in my algorithm yesterday in my own channel. So
what up,
weird, but great to have you here.
Thank you very
much. I met Aya briefly at an airport in Amsterdam for 8 minutes on our way home from Unite last year.
Well, there we go. A legend.
A legend.
Lovely to meet you.
Okay, so how did you solve this? So then if we go into, so we should go back to the spawn class, right?
Exactly. Actually, Thomas, could I get some help from you because you're more familiar with the zombie spawning?
There you go. Oh, so we have our spawn manager network. So it would be, I think we can set it right inside here, right after the spawned enemy happens, right?
Exactly, because if you go ahead and spawn it, then you can go ahead and let's say enemy collision handler, something like this, and it's spawn the enemy, which is going to be the network object.
Yep.
But it has access to the game object and get component network.
I just figured out why we're getting a null reference error to the HP class.
How?
Really? Nice.
Yeah, I got it. I know what we can do now. Okay, continue.
You have a breakthrough. Thomas, your excitement is palpable. I love it.
Okay. I usually like to, you know.
Yeah. If it's not null. Yeah.
But I believe for now that we are safe in this. And then enemy collision handler, then original prefab.
Oh my gosh, we have made a thing.
So we are getting the here we go. So yeah. So
and then enemy dot and then just give it enemy dot game object. Boom.
Okay. So if it's like the situation with the food, I believe that this should work. So let's alt tab to Unity again.
Oh no! Ah! I tried to be too fancy. It's coming back. Give it a sec.
Oh, no.
Give it a sec.
Wow.
There you go.
Beautiful.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Thomas Winkley.
Oh, there we go. Okay. For a moment, a moment, it showed up on my end, but I forgot the live stream.
The delay of the delay of the delay.
The delay. Yeah. All right.
Tom, I want you to know that when the code was up, Pen sitting on my desk, he was like looking very closely, but as soon as everything went like blank, he turned and looked at me like office style. It's like, really?
Just like straight down the barrel of the gun.
Yep.
Woo! Yeah!
Ah, nice!
It worked. You're just a really terrible shot, but when you hit, it works.
It's always really bad where you think your game is bugged, but really you're just bad at it.
You're bad at your own game.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll take it.
So I think the reason for the null reference is actually the exact reason. If I may, I'm going to drive for a second. So seeing the way you're getting spawned enemy dot game object, right? and our HP script is a network object now. And so I think all we need to do to fix the HP issue, if I can remember the class we were using, it was in the food class. It was in the food class. I'm going to have original prefab stuck in my head all day. What have we done?
Oh, is it better or worse than we had Disney tunes last week?
I don't know, but dear the offspring, don't sue me. I'm a poor man. All right. So yeah, if we look here, we're looking at the collision.
The offspring is awesome.
Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong here. Yeah, no. So the collision coming in, but do we need to get, is the collision actually, no, because there's the game object there. Maybe I'm wrong. I was thinking it's because we're getting a reference to a network object, not the game object. And so we need to do collision dot. Let me try this. I'm going to try it. And if it doesn't work, then at least we tried it.
Let's do. Oh, are you gonna do try get component like debug log or something or?
Well, wait, let's do that. Let's actually do that because like what I'm thinking here is that we're trying to get a game object from the collision, but maybe the collision is actually connected to the network object, and we need to get a reference to the game object from the network object.
Yeah.
Am I thinking too deeply about this?
So, are you thinking that maybe somewhere along the line something is being destroyed when it shouldn't be?
Yeah, I think it's trying to get a reference to this game object, but the way it's doing it is as if it's a local version and not a game object that's stored as a reference inside of a network object. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Makes sense.
So that's kind of where my concern lies here. So I guess, let's just start here. Because here's my theory. I am a game object. And then we can I should have used the $sign thingy, but oh well. But basically, all of this. Can we do like an instance ID, .get instance ID? And that theoretically should throw a null reference, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Or what if we did, Joy, you were piping up. What if we did like if this does not equal null?
Are you trying to you can do like the try get component. And
here, you take over. You got an idea. You teach me. My brain short circuited halfway through trying to write this code.
So okay. Let's go to parsec.
In the tune of Coco Cabana. Let's go to parsec.
It lets me use your friend's computer remotely. Yo, Parsec marketing team, we got some ideas for you.
You guys are going to be commercials from now on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but
I mean,
try
we're
get component
just
from
memes
who?
now.
Yeah, from the collision, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Component.
Oh,
yeah, you did it.
Hey, we solved the other problem.
Oh boy.
Reduce HP and yeah, basically, then
reduce HP. This. Yeah, yep. Let's put that in there.
And then
you forgot to
and then for now
close off your brackets.
Oh.
It's real stressful.
And semicolon. I don't know how to code in a live stream. There we go.
I mean, Aya called it out earlier, brave for coding live, and we've talked about it on the previous streams. There's a high level of vulnerability, so I commend your bravery, each and every one of you, because this seems stressful in private. It seems incredibly stressful with an audience, so you guys are doing great.
All right.
Thank you, Jackson.
Appreciate you. Let's give it a shot. Oh, I need alt tab. My name is Tom. I am alt tabbing. What's good, Skydriver? Okay, we're loading up. My face is gonna freeze again. Let me do it. Oh, it didn't freeze this time. There it is.
There you go.
We just got a little motion blur.
It was
mostly
waiting for
beard.
you.
You just get to look like a really cool anime character for a minute.
I should get so much better at this game.
No.
We should probably make the triggers
fine.
bigger.
It's fine. Stay bad at the game. So next week when we play each other.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay, maybe get a little bit better.
Getting lots of null errors still, but let's see what happens.
Yeah, well, it could also be because are we trying to do a try-get component after it destroys itself?
Ooh. Still H on the HP.
It's the exact same line.
Oh, is it because HP.dead is trying to kill something after we're...
Oh, okay. So this one was withstanding.
Okay, that's fine.
Sorry, I wanted to go back to...
No, nav mesh movements on the enemies. Nav mesh movements on the enemies.
Oh. Interesting.
I think we have some tangled webs here.
True.
What if we disable the ability to attack? What if we just comment this whole if block?
Okay. Go.
Yeah, just get rid of the in attack range dot evoke. Yeah, just that last line, that 99.
Like for now.
Yep, just to see if we get rid of that, and let's just run it.
Okay. But although there was another error, I believe it was in food 107. No. There was somewhere in 107, but okay, let's try it again. Let's go to Unity again.
All right, well, let's go back to Unity and see what we can look at the error real quick. Oh, no, we cleared them.
107 is the HP.
Is it HP 107?
It's the exact same one that we've been looking at this entire time.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Should we open the HP base class and just see?
See, I hit a 12.
I heard the click and my heart stopped. Okay. So 107.
Yep.
107.
PC dot.
Ooh.
Wait, what is PC? Is that the player?
Player controller. Oh.
Wait. Aren't we setting the player controller to inactive unless... So is it... Because remember, the player... So this is to turn off the player controller if they die. Because remember, but we have to disable the player controller on a bunch of the components. So do we just need an is server check in here?
Oh, do you want me to... Oh, I see. Like should I just do like for the whole thing?
Yeah, sure.
Or
yeah, because only the server can kill the character, right?
Oh, no. No, it's like because the server needs to detect. No. It's the owner. It's the client.
You're right.
Because we're gonna be owned by the client. So if
not his owner
is owner.
Yep.
It's not the owner.
Why is our if statement so tabbed over? What happened?
Oh, because check it out.
Oh, we're about to learn a new thing.
There we go.
We've ruined. It's over for chat. We're sorry. Okay, let's see if that gets rid of her. Because now we shouldn't get all those things, right? Because I think there's two. Yeah, hopefully we'll see.
Let's see. Okay, so let's go back into the editor.
It's on its way. Maybe. Bueller? Maybe not. Bueller? There we are.
There we go.
If we don't succeed, this will definitely be homework.
Indeed.
Is this a moment where we should all be crossing fingers? Is this a hope?
And toes.
Everyone, good vibes.
Okay, we spawn in. Timer counts down.
I gotta play. I was crossing my finger.
Yeah, let's not hamstring you even more. It's like you're barely able to.
Okay.
What is up, Layla Codes?
Yeah, I'm still seeing. I'm still seeing a no
raid
ref
on Twitch, bringing over 28 viewers.
Yeah.
We appreciate you.
What up, friends? All right, let's go check and see where we're at here. But it's less of them. There's only 3 now instead of like 100.
102 is. Oh, Bulldog can be heavier.
Oh, just comment that out. Just comment that out. Yeah.
Or actually,
get out of here. We don't need you anymore. Just delete it. Deleted. Boom. That was the issue. Okay.
Yay.
We clear all the no refs.
Guys.
Now, if that's the case, does that mean we can then really quickly? Could we go back to reducing HP with the hot dog slaps?
Wait. We don't introduce more like variables until we have confirmed. Let's see
put my hands up.
Thomas,
wait,
I just realized
you need
something.
to alt tab. You can't put your hands up.
Wait, what? Can we go back to the code real quick?
Yes.
Because I just noticed something. If HP is we're handling dead and we're handling for enemies and and the player. So
It can't be owner.
So this if check will not actually yeah, you see what I mean?
Yep.
Because
Yep.
here we're updating the player.
Player. Yep. 100%.
Whereas here it's gonna be, I mean, yeah, I guess it does. Sorry. I guess it does work because the enemies are gonna be owned by the server and the client. So no, sorry.
Are these are these needless checks? Because dead will only be happening on the player, right?
But we have an is enemy here, so that's why I was like, that's why it kind of like threw me off. Like, oh, wait a minute, we got to make sure to do the right check for enemy and player. But this flag will actually should be able to handle it because the zombies will be owned by the server, and by its owner in the enemy, we are going to be checking that we are on the server.
However, that means the particles will only spawn on the server and will not be spawned on every other client. So we actually do need it the way you said.
Oh, okay, that is very
So we actually only want we only want the check inside of there. We only want it there because here, if it's the enemy, period, we just want to spawn the particles and play the sound because then everybody hears the sound and sees the particles, and we don't have to worry about network stuff.
Oh, I see what you mean.
That makes, I think.
Now I will say because remember, if we are the player, that means that right now we are in client.
Yep.
And if we need to change this is something that I think that we can maybe handle.
Yeah, we'll have to change that.
But yeah, you see what I mean? That like we're gonna have to tell the game managers that it's gonna be server owned. So we're probably gonna have to introduce a server RPC.
Yeah, will you throw that as a comment down here above the PC is dead, and maybe just comment out the game manager for now so we don't get a weird. Well, I mean, actually, it won't cause us a weird thing. We should just put a comment to say we need to update this to be an RPC.
Update.
While you guys are doing that, I want to interrupt briefly because I want to give a more grand welcome to our raiders coming over into this Twitch channel from Layla Codes It. Thank you for bringing your community here. My name is Jackson. I'm one of our community managers. I'm joined by Thomas above me on screen. Thomas, say hey. From our education team, we got Esteban from our advocacy team, and we got Joy and just general excellence here. We are converting a game to multiplayer in a month. We also have a cat on screen.
This is Pen.
We got Pen. Very good.
Yeah.
But to catch you up, we are currently working on collisions in our multiplayer game. We've been converting over the last 4. And gang, what are we problem solving at this exact moment?
Yeah. So basically, we're just putting in notes for ourselves because right now our game manager is a singleton. However, we have a networked version of it because the server should be controlling all of our game managery stuff. And right now, this specific portion is killing the player character and then updating the game manager to let it know that the player is dead and the round is over. But this is a multiplayer game, which actually means we're going to have to figure out a way to handle when a player dies and deal with that on the network side. And so we're just giving ourselves some notes to fix that in the off time because we're getting close to wrapping up, I think. So, okay. So now should we test?
Let's do it.
Okay. Exactly. It needs to tell all the other instances, which is we're going to do through probably like a remote procedure call, which we'll have to figure out. So yeah, that'll be the next thing we figure out.
All right.
Which means our game manager is probably going to need some like state management RPCs, I think, to update the other game managers.
By the way, I've been testing all this time, and it didn't do the most simple thing to help our viewers out. Oh, yeah, it is maximizing. Okay. No, I was wrong.
All right, let's see it. Standy spawns. Crossing me fingies.
Oh, shoot. My one responsibility, and I missed it.
Oh, run.
No, you.
Should we make the zombies bigger for you?
Oh,
throwing shade. Someone's still feeling salty after the F12 incident of last week.
See the thing. See, there we go. Thomas is a gentleman because he doesn't roast me in the development stage. He's roasting me on the gameplay.
Yeah,
he's not saying you're a bad dev. He's saying you're a bad.
It's gonna be super awkward when we meet in Seattle next week. There's gonna be this like energy. Hey. It's gonna be weird. But hey, look, I see no.
Whoa.
No refs.
Definitely. Nice. That's
absolutely
awesome.
Crushed it.
But By the way, Thomas,
So-
I'll take you to a good hot dog stand in Seattle.
If you guys don't get hot
we
dogs
should
when you're
actually
together,
we should actually get a photo with hot dogs next week. We should.
Now you have to throw
We
those
should eat
hot dogs at each other
pizza, tacos, and pie.
we can make video content. We can do it we'll
Yeah.
roll it during next week's stream if you guys get that done. I would really appreciate that. Asking in our YouTube chat, you guys didn't plan on this being multiplayer when you started, right? How has the experience of converting it to multiplayer have been? Curious if you would have done something differently.
It was part of the original plan, actually. It was mandated by the first stream. But when we went through the process of building this last time, we ended up running out of time because making a multiplayer game from scratch with nothing in 8 streams was maybe a little unrealistic. But
And also, like, our initial plan was like, well, we'll just get all the mechanics working, and then we'll go back and make the multiplayer. And we very quickly realized, as Esteban had told us like 7 times, we should have been designing for multiplayer from
But
day
it
one.
wasn't Esteban Summer, and so we didn't realize that it was true.
Yeah.
But now that it's Esteban Summer, we realize that everything he says is very worth paying attention to.
Y'all are too kind.
And I think for me, and maybe this is a good way to like wrap the stream before we go do homework. I think for me, the biggest thing I've realized is, I don't want to say spiraling because I don't want to make it sound negative, but like the rippling implications of what we change is super interesting to me, because like we get this code done, we have it working, and we're just like, all right, cool, like it's done, great. And then it's like, oh, I need to update this to be a network thing. And then it's like, oh wait, this actually touches these other things. Now all these need to be updated. And then, oh, because of that, these types need to change. What I've enjoyed is that I feel like it has actually helped us find optimization opportunities for the code in just weird ways, because it's forcing us to look over the code from like a different perspective. So I'm having to come at it from over here. And so it's like, oh, this isn't very optimal. I can just switch these small things and it runs better now, and it works better with netcode, which I found to be really exciting. But I'd love to hear Esteban and Joy's takes on it too.
Yeah.
No man, it's been a lot of fun to like see it. Like we mentioned, like it's true. Like it's best to like try to work on your game thinking that it's going to be a multiplayer game for the start. But honestly, like it's not like other teams don't do this, like convert an existing game into multiplayer. So it was such a fun experience. And the coolest things is seeing all of the updates that Netcode for Game Objects and the team has been adding over the years, how they have compounded, and now how much easier it has been. To like actually do this. So like for me, it's seeing the product grow and like the results of their efforts. So shout out to the development team, and like super proud of them for real.
Yeah. One thing that I'm really interested in pursuing now, which perhaps I shouldn't be saying this because it's basically like more work and everything, but now that we've like, once we finish this and go through the experience of converting a game, I think it'd be really fascinating to actually try and make another small game from the start and implement everything from the very beginning and see what that experience is like, because we've learned so much from the optimization standpoint that it'd be really neat to be able to actually build that in from the very beginning and see what that process is like.
Yeah, totally agree with you. And I think it's been really, really fun to solidify things that we didn't have to deal with before, like strength and skills live, right? Like I will never forget how to do an enum again. Like I will understand enums to the end of time because of the 30 minutes we blew up last year. And then also I think it's really, really cool to be coding collaboratively with Esteban, Kirk, Joy, because I'm learning stuff from them. Like I'm learning these tips and tricks and ideas, and I'm getting better as a developer. So I would love to do a third, if we get to a third season of like, hey, like let's see how much better we are at this and build a new thing.
Demand it, chat.
Demand it internally.
I mean, I'm the one
Stop, chat. Would you like to see?
So like, you
Everybody
come at
quick.
me. I'm having a blast here. Let me
Jackson,
say that as a community manager, again,
Sure.
those of you who have not met me before, hey, I'm Jackson. I'm the community manager. I'm responsible for our live streams now. This is new for me in this role specifically. I've been doing live streams in a professional capacity for a while, but I'm very excited to bring you all the type of content that you want to see. So if there are things that you're very curious about if things that you want to learn, types of content you want to see, please let me know. Again, I've harped on this from the beginning of the stream, that this is an interactive medium for a reason, and we get the opportunity to pop in and answer questions and address comments and concerns. So we want that. And if there's stuff that you want to see, that's what we want to bring you. So be vocal about that type of stuff. And gang, Thomas, Esteban, Joy, even Kirk, I've had a blast doing this. So if we can find another angle, I don't see why that wouldn't be an awesome thing to do.
There's always angles to find. We live in a 3-dimensional world.
Yeah, I did pitch it to Thomas in like one of my very first weeks as like a type of content that we go right for beginners and I learn, and you are the coaching team, and I come in with ideas and I'm like, I don't know what to do, and then you guys are like, oh, but we have the expertise. Anyhow, there's a whole variety of potential for it, so we would love to hear.
Call your congressman and congresswomen, please let the government know that you want to see more of us on the Unity stream.
Yeah, we are looking to, first and foremost, a more consistent schedule. So we're trying to do our best at letting you guys know when the next streams are going to be. We'll make sure to tell you that after we get through homework, but there's going to be a lot of opportunity here. I see Mind Over Development saying, excited to check out more of these. Make sure to check in every single week because we're going to have something great for you. Next week, we're going to do our 5th and final part of this. And then the following week, we have a very cool creator spotlight, where I will be sitting down with a indie dev team to discuss their project and the way that they have approached it, some of the problem solving that they've done. I'm really, really looking forward to that as well. But enough about that, or we'll circle back to that. Thomas, what do we have for homework?
It's homework time. So I think one thing we discovered is we need to... So we've got monsters dying now, right? The food hits them, they disappear. We need to ensure that HP reduction is actually happening, right? Is actually happening and working. We need to hook up our toggle system to toggle through food. Toggle through food. And I just thought of a complication there because we're disabling all of the input systems except for the one on the owner. Oh no, it shouldn't be a big deal, right? Because the owner is the only one we care about. So we should be fine. Actually, never mind. We're good. So that should be pretty easy. I do think we need to rewrite that whole system, to be honest, because right now we're reaching into if I remember right, we're reaching into a dictionary of strings and integers, and then we're pulling those from the prefabs that are basically sitting inside of a scriptable object. And honestly, I think we should probably just have an array of prefabs that we iterate through on the character and just use those as the key. I think that's going to be better. And then maybe we have like multiple max value variables. I see you laughing.
How long could refactoring a script take? 10 minutes?
Yeah, it's easy. Who cares? That's future us problem. So we might need to refactor our food management system. And then something that I realized while coding and getting things finished up is that we don't actually have a way to so I had to rehook up the wave progression, and we didn't actually cover that. Do I still have Unity up? And I can show you really quick. So what I had to do is, what was happening originally is spawning was kicking off as soon as the scene loaded, and then the timer would kick down, and then you can move around and shoot, right? And it was just a very like quick prototypey way of doing things. But I actually had to go through and reset that so that when the timer finishes counting down and turns off, spawning starts. So I had to move around like how those calls work. So we're gonna also have to now think about when we finish killing all the monsters in the wave, or feeding all the monsters in the wave, excuse me. When they're all fed.
We've been doing? I didn't know.
Yeah, we've been feeding them. Yeah, we've been feeding the monsters hot dogs. So when they get all their hot dogs, we need to then send a message back to the game manager to basically progress the wave, turn the timer back on, have the timer count down, and then start spawning again.
Basically completing the gameplay loop.
Yeah.
Completing. Yeah.
So we need to complete the networked gameplay loop. I think those are all the things we probably need to do before next week.
Okay. And then what are we hoping to display in the last one? What are we doing to put a bow on it?
So if we get all that done, we can implement Relay, right? And we can just get this thing on the internet, send a build to everybody, and play it.
Okay. So we're going to show it off is what we're going to do. We're going to play the game.
Yes.
Dang, that's exciting.
That's the goal.
That's exciting. And those of you following along and want to check it out, there is a GitHub link pinned to the Twitch chat.
Yep.
We also have it now in the YouTube chat, and that's updated relatively frequently. Thomas, is that right?
Yeah, basically as we finish things, we're pushing to GitHub and making sure the updates are there. And we were collaborating on a private branch and then pushing after the Twitch stream to this branch. Or to this repository. What we're doing now is we're just doing the homework right in the live repository. So the homework, as we finish homework, is getting updates. And I think we're trying to be as thorough as we can with the notes. So yeah, I think that's next week, and that should wrap the series up. Hopefully we get close. Depending on how busy we are, because we do have Unite coming very, very quickly at our heels. Mm-hmm. I would like to try to wrap anything up and have the project totally completed, even if we do it off stream. But that's a nice to have, not a guarantee, just because we're going to finish, on the 27th. And then essentially we have workshops and presentations in Barcelona. Esteban and I have some stuff in Seattle we have to do. And then suddenly it's the holidays and we have to plan for 2025. So we'll see how the rest of it goes, but I'm definitely excited to try to wrap it up next week and see how close we get.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you want to see the conclusion to NetCheck Part 5, come and hang out next week. That will be Tuesday, August the 27th. That'll start at 9 a.m. Pacific time. That's noon Eastern. And then just do the conversion for yourself if you're overseas. I'm so grateful that you are all here. Thank you, but I'm not a time encyclopedia. That's a real thing, I'm sure. So check it out. Come and hang out. If you've been at any of these streams, it's the same time zone. Same time, same place. Come on back next week. We'll be live again on twitch.tv/Unity and on the official Unity YouTube page as well. Thomas mentioned it, and I want to hammer it home, and I know we've got a graphic for it as well. So if you are at all able to make it to Unite, make sure to check it out and make the trip if you are able. We will all be there. You can scan that QR code when you see us there, because every single one of you is going to be there. Come and say hello. It would be fantastic to meet some of you all. And if you're not able to make it live and in person, we will have a stream component. Again, details to TBA, but I'm very excited for what we can potentially do. Again, come hang out next week with the gang. Joy, I believe this might be our last time having you in the mix, as I think we're swapping you out for Kirk. Never to be replaced, though. So I want to say a big thank you for being here, for coming to hang out.
I always love hanging out with you guys. Yeah.
Everyone say hey to Joy and a big thank you. Again, we'll be back next week. The Bull saying thank you for pointing out Sanctuary Shattered Sun last week. I'm glad that was something you were interested in. Keep checking out our content here. If you are catching up or you joined us late, the VOD will be available. It will be chaptered. You can catch up on all of that information. And there's a playlist of the previous episodes if you want to be caught up on everything NetCheck related before the finale next week. I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be excellent. And again, a big shout out to everyone for being here, and thank you once more to Layla for raiding in with your community over on the Twitch side. We are excited to see what is the future of these live streams as we continue to grow and build and try new things. One final time through the ranks here, I want to say thank you to Thomas for being our head honcho. I want to thank Esteban for joining us during the summer of Esteban, making time in your busy schedule. A big shout out to Joy and Pen, and a massive thank you to Freeman working behind the scenes to make everything happen. We will see you guys all next week. Stick around for the raid if you're at all able. On the Twitch side, we're going to see Woots Dev. A big shout out to each and every one of you for being here. You all rock. We will see you guys next week. My name's Jackson, and we're out.